From Mysore we reached Kachiguda near Hyderabad on 28th October 2012 at the wee hours of the day. That odd time was not an obstacle for a big crowd gathered there to catch the train moving towards Jaipur. Closely observing them and their relatives leaves one in no doubt about their identity. They were the Marwaris of Rajasthan, who were some of the most successful businessmen and women of India. Surprisingly, these successful businessmen graduate not out of the famous business schools of the country, but out of a particular community and state. While the famous business schools of the country teach its students how to manage business, these people demonstrate how to make money from business. That again reinforces the age-old Indian wisdom that businessmen are born, not made. Another difference was that these Marwaris are not only good in making money, they are equally good philanthropists as well. The reason for success of their business is joint family system, with blood as the bonding for teamwork. While the business schools unsuccessfully try to teach team dynamics with money as the bonding material. If you happen to travel in the same cabin where Marwaris are, you will never be short of two things round the clock. A. Hearing endless talk. B. Seeing them eat round the clock. Such is their ferocity for food. You can find them making phone calls to the relatives in the forward station to bring such and such food item to the railway station. That naturally ensures that the pantry cars in all the trains moving to and fro Rajasthan are made redundant. The moment the train left, an eerie silence fell on the entire station. We appeared to be the only ones left on the platform, with nothing to do till the first passenger train starting at 5. We sat through there. With the early morning weather turning little chilly, we were spared of the dreaded Hyderabadi mosquitoes. We had nearly 7 hours at our disposal till we catch the forward train to Allahabad at 10 hours from Secunderabad. We had planned to utilize that time to meet another colleague from Northeast, Sri Ravi Sharma, now stationed in Hyderabad. But being Sunday, we were very keen not to disturb him on his self-declared holiday by going there and knocking at the doors at that odd hours. We took the first passenger train to Hyderabad at 5 o'clock and reached Sri Ravi Sharma's place. As we pressed the calling bell, he opened the door and informed very casually with a mischievous smile that another person was also waiting for us. Straining our necks, we tried to find out who the person was, only to find to our great joy Sri Rajashekaran coming out of the room. Meeting two of our ex-colleagues was something like hitting two birds with one shot. Both Sri Ravi Sharma and P.K. Rajashekaran have many things in common. Both were drawn out of their homes for service of motherland by Swami Vivekananda's teachings. Both came out of their family comforts in the year 1985 and were stationed in Dibrugarh, Assam from 1986, only to part ways in two different directions in the late 90s. Both have a terrific sense of humor, seeing the funny side of virtually everything, and a wonderful ability to make others laugh. And if the target is one of their own senior colleagues, they appear to excel each other. And both of them had a wonderful smile on the faces around the clock. Yet, one of the differences was their native places. While Rajashekaran hailed from Kochi, Ravi Sharma, with roots in Punjab, was from Delhi. Another difference was their area of expertise. While Sri Rajashekaran excelled in managing men and materials, Sri Ravi Sharma was excellent in public relation and community mobilization. While Sri Rajashekaran speaks with measured words, from Sri Ravi Sharma, words just flow. When passing time was never an issue, even when one of them was around, we had a rare opportunity to rehear some of those wonderful anecdotes and humorous events that took place in the northeastern Himalayan states. If compiled, it can easily be one of the best books on jokes or anecdotes in the field of social service. In their presence, time flew like an express train. We quickly had our breakfast in the nearby hotel, where Ravi Sharma, looking at the extremely small size of the teacup and the contents, casually asked the waiter whether it was for pouring into the ear. By 8 a.m., half-heartedly we took leave of them to reach Secunderabad railway station to board the SC PNBE express leaving for Allahabad at 10 hours. Even on that Sunday morning, Hyderabad was crowded, showing what it means to be the fourth most populous city in the country. Hyderabad is located in the northwestern part of Andhra Pradesh and lies on the banks of the Musi River in the northern part of Deccan Plateau in South India. It is a global center of information technology and is home to more than 1,300 IT firms. Hyderabad is noted for its mingling of North and South Indian linguistic. Right from its establishment, Hyderabad has been a bone of contention. The latest one is Telangana movement, which has almost paralyzed the city for years together. Despite the crowded roads and traffic jams on that Sunday morning, we reached Secunderabad railway station at the right time to board the next train. This time again, the train started its forward journey at the right time. Our next destination was Prayag in Uttar Pradesh. The place is now known as Allahabad. The train was expected to reach there only by 11:30 a.m. the following day. The forward journey took us through Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, giving a broad rural view of all those states. The impact of below normal monsoon rains and the poor grain production was visible in Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. The situation was better in other states. In those days, the seemingly endless expanse of fallow lands and beautiful sights of water bodies were great source of joy. It gave hopes that despite the much talked about overpopulation, not everything is lost in the country. However, from the point of forest cover, only Chhattisgarh offered some comforts. With the rest, existence of forests were for the namesake only. We as a nation seems to have opted for a bleak future for our children by our reckless destruction of the forest. Finally, the train reached the holy city of Prayag, now officially called Allahabad, on 29th of October 2012 at 11 o'clock. From the train we had a glimpse of the river Yamuna flowing majestically down under. We preferred to take a cycle rickshaw to reach our friend's house located around 2 kilometers away, as it leaves no carbon footprint behind and is a sustainable way of transport, providing a livelihood to a local person.